Welcome everyone to another edition of Coffee with Father James. I have a new coffee mug. It says, warning, coffee first, then we can talk. So, if you'll excuse me for a second. Now we can talk. Someone asked me the other day, how many coffee mugs do you have? Oh man, I almost don't want to even answer that question, because what I don't want to do is, well, you can guess what I don't want to do is end up with more mugs. But I think that horse may have left the stable, if you know what I mean. So I counted before I came out, and as of this mug, I now have 10 coffee mugs. Now that's including the original Coffee with Father James Far Side Aerobics in Hell coffee mug, which is a stalwart. It's a standard. It's an old standard. And someone asked me, well, why do you, how do you know what coffee cup you're going to use? Well, what I do is I kind of stand in front of my bookshelf with all the coffee cups, and I kind of go, "Come, Holy Spirit." No, I'm only kidding. I kind of get a bit of a vibe, and I try to just kind of, it's like deciding what single malt scotch I'm gonna have a wee taste of. You know, you just kind of go with your gut, your instinct on it. So, and sometimes there's kind of a theme to it as well. But anyway, enough of that. So let's talk. The first thing is I'm actually not here. Seriously, I'm not here. I mentioned it to you last week. I'm actually in Rome right now, and I can tell you over there the coffee's a lot stronger than this coffee. So please pray for me. I'm right now. If you're watching this on Tuesday afternoon, I'm about halfway through the lectures that I have to give, and then on Friday off to Toulouse for the conference. So again, please pray for that. That would mean a lot. When I come back, it's weird. It's like it's October. It will come into October already, and October is going to be quite the month for us at the parish. The Archbishop is coming for his first visit to our parish on Sunday, October 10th. We mentioned this a few weeks ago. He's going to be celebrating, presiding and preaching at the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock Mass. And he's coming to announce the beginning of a formal process of discernment and conversation around the question of the closure of two of our church buildings, Immaculate Conception Church and St. Paul's Church. So that's kind of a bittersweet thing. He's going to be coming to the Mass, looking forward to meeting parishioners, and he's going to be meeting after Mass. We're going to meet at 12:15 in the Parish Centre with Pastoral Council, Finance Council, and the key leadership teams, just to touch base with the Bishop. So please mark that date. I know it's Thanksgiving weekend. Some of you will not be here, but it is a significant moment for us, so please try to be there. One other thing about that weekend, we're actually cancelling the evening Mass for two reasons. Number one is that experience has taught us that Sunday attendance on Thanksgiving Sunday evening is usually like really low. And the fact that the Bishop is coming, let's just cancel it and encourage everyone to come to the Sunday morning Mass. And if you're in the habit of going to Saturday Mass, why don't you consider coming to the 9 or the 11? Let's make a real concerted effort to welcome our Bishop. Other dates in October, we will begin this formal conversation, and there's going to be two streams of consultation that are going to take place throughout October and November in our parish. One is the consultation by a group that we're calling the Listening Committee. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. They are going to host two large gatherings at St. Anthony's Church location, one on the 19th of October concerning the question of Immaculate Conception Church, and one on the 21st of October concerning St. Paul's Church. This is going to be a facilitated session for people to discuss and provide feedback so that the whole group can hear people's thoughts on this. These meetings are for all parishioners who would be impacted by that decision, which, as far as I'm concerned, with the fact that we all own everything, we're all, in a sense, blessed with everything and burdened with everything, with all of these buildings, that what we do with our infrastructure is going to impact all of us. So we hope that you can be at these meetings no matter what community you historically come from, or whether you're brand new to the parish and don't historically come from any community, or whether you think this is a terrible idea, or whether you think this is a wonderful idea. Let's hurry up already and get on with this. Please come to this meeting, and let's make an effort to truly listen to one another. These 2 meetings are going to be followed up with smaller meetings. The committee is going to be seeking people to meet with. So if you've got concerns, you want to be heard, we're going to be there. We're going to be there to listen. The other consultation process that will begin towards the end of October is what we're calling is going to be facilitated by what we're calling a dreaming committee. And this committee is going to do a facilitated process or processes to help people connect with the idea of a renewed building. Remember the option 4 thing that we settled on? So we've got a general footprint of what's possible, but exactly what the details are going to be, we've got a lot of decisions to make. Here's the thing, our concrete plans must begin with dreams. Sometimes people say, they kind of mock the idea of a dream. It's not real, it's not real, it's not real. You know, sometimes we can be so real that we squeeze out every ounce of inspiration or hope. We're cold, hard realists. And we don't want that either. We're people of faith. We ought to be people who dream dreams about what can be possible, what God is calling us to do. So we want to begin with dreams, and then we've got to discern and how we bring these dreams into what God is calling us to do, and what are the realities we're working with. And there are a million decisions we're going to have to make. So this is the beginning of a process, and we're going to do both of these at the same time and begin them during the month of October. The other date in October, which is relevant to this question of church buildings in our future and our past, is October 30th, and I'd like you to mark that date on your calendar. Immaculate Conception Church in Woodside was built in 1921. And when I first came to this parish, one of the first things that was said to me is, Father James, I hope, regardless of what our future is with the building, that at least we can celebrate the 100th anniversary. And at the time I was quite sure that would be the case, and is definitely going to be the case. Exactly when to celebrate the 100th anniversary was up for some debate. Here's the thing, the first Mass in the church was on December 25th, midnight Mass, 12 a.m. on December 25th. Well, that's not when we're going to celebrate the 100th anniversary, just saying, okay, let's just get that clear. The other date would be the Feast of Immaculate Conception on December 8th. That would make a lot of sense. December 8th on the 100th anniversary. But you know, the first Mass on that location was actually October 30th, 1921. It was held in the basement of the church. So we're going to have the 100th anniversary Mass in the upstairs of the church on October 30th. And then we'll have a reception afterwards. So more information about that to come. But again, what we want to do is we want to celebrate not just our past, not just the history, not just the building. We want to celebrate where we're going and our hopes. And we want to celebrate not just the building, but the community. The building may be the same, but the community has changed. This community is a living thing that has a future that will outlast any building, anytime, if we get it right. And so once again, this is not just a celebration for those who have a history in that particular location. I would love for as many parishioners as possible from Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish to come and be present there, because guess what? Before Immaculate Conception Parish was founded, that was our parish. That was our parish territory. We have an historical stake in that place, and we have a present stake in that place. It is our present parish. So please mark that date in your calendar and plan to be there. Speaking of Masses, I just want to revisit a topic from a few weeks ago, or a few months ago really, when we did a series called Mass Confusion. And that was addressing the topic of Mass intentions. And speaking of confusion intentions, it certainly wasn't my intention to cause confusion, let alone Mass confusion or confusion about Mass intentions, if you get my drift. Because what we were really trying to say is that the habit of having a Mass offered for a loved one and getting a Mass card and making an offering, that hasn't changed. We're still doing that. That has not changed. That is a custom that is done all over the world and has been done in our parish for ages. What we are changing is the habit of so-called buying a Mass or getting a Mass intention that is linked to a particular date, where once you get that date, no one else can have it. That's what we're trying to do with. We're trying to address this sense that somehow you can buy and have exclusive ownership of the spiritual fruits of the Eucharist, which of course is preposterous for a number of reasons. You can't buy God's grace. And secondly, God's grace is infinite. No one can own it. This is ridiculous. It's preposterous. So here's the thing. We can still, if there's a date that's special to you and your family, an anniversary of a loved one's death, or a date you want to gather with your family members, you can still do that. Please contact the office. Let us know. We will still offer Mass for the intention of your loved one on that date. We just don't want your $10. And if someone else also wants a Mass intention for that date, there'll be 2 intentions. Probably not, but there might be 2. I hope that makes sense. I hope that decreases the confusion. That's my intention this time. Anyway, hopefully that will work. What else do I have to talk to you about? Let me check my iPhone because I forget. Let me see. It's the chipmunks making just too noisy chipmunks. Yeah, we're still working on our database. This past Thursday, the parish team actually made a trip to another parish to investigate how they are innovating with databases. You see, in the past, a parish database was done so that we could know your address and your phone number. Well, phones, not really, addresses, so we could mail things to you. And principally for tax receipts purpose, for tax receipts for giving. The traditional databases also had room for family records and sacramental records, and even perhaps who's involved in whatever ministry. But as we look forward in what we're being called to as a church, to be, as the diocese has said, communities of missionary disciples, this means that we want to be intentional about forming community, which raises the whole question of small groups, and being disciples, which is about growing spiritually, and being missionary, which is being engaged in the mission, etc., etc. We need, as a parish, to be in the people-growing business. That's what we're in. We're people-growing business. You see behind me all this grass and the trees and the bushes. That's because they grew. They grew. And if you're a gardener, I'm not. Some people have a green thumb. I have a black thumb mostly. But the image of a garden is a beautiful symbol of a parish. We want to see a beautiful garden grow and flourish. That's the people of God. That's the parishioners. So we want to be about not just sending you a tax receipt or making a sacramental certificate. I mean, it's not that that's not important. We want a database that will help us grow people and form community and release people, equip people, release people for ministry. And so we're investigating different software. We need cloud-based software. I mean, the package we use right now, the software we use right now, doesn't do cloud. So there's only one access point. I mean, think about that. If you're relying on a database to build community and form groups and there's only one access point, I mean, it's not 1997 anymore. So we're looking at options. We're discerning between a few different options. But before we transition our data to a new platform, we need to do our best to clean it up. We've got a lot of our data right now is redundant. And so please, 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 could you do me a big favor? Could you please do me a favor? So take a sip of your coffee first. Warning, coffee first, then we can talk. So please do me a favor. If you haven't notified the parish about, say if you've moved in the last 30 years, 20, give 15, 10 years. If you've moved in the last 10 years, could you please call the parish office and just check that the information we have for you is actually correct? And that includes emails as well. That would be incredibly helpful. We've got a team of parishioners who are working with Brenda to clean this up, and we're trying to get all that done so that we can transition as smoothly as possible. Finally, tonight. No, that's not true. Tonight, as you watch this, if you're watching on Tuesday, so I'm getting a bit confused because I'm not even here. But as you watch this, if you're watching this on Tuesday, it's the launch of our youth ministry program. Wow, that's awesome! It's so exciting, and it's for junior high and high school, so grades 7 to 12. And I know some of you parents might be thinking, I'm not sending my grade 7 kid to hang out with grade 12ers. Are you nuts? I get it. What we do is we're forming a good team, and there'll be a general interaction you know, kids always gravitate towards their friends anyway, so they'll be with their friends. There will be a kind of a talk given to the whole group, but then we break kids into age-appropriate small groups, so they will be with their peers. So we've got some great people on our team who are very experienced youth ministers, got a lot of experience in this area. So let's spread the word, please. Like if you're watching this right now and it's 3 o'clock, hey, it's still time. Contact your child, niece, nephew, grandchild, neighbors, random kid passing on the street. And, you know, it's very biblical. Jesus said, look, go to the highways and byways and grab people and drag them in. So drag them into youth ministry, except you just need to register them first on the website. So please go to the parish website. And please pray for them. You know, many of you have come to me and said, Father James, we're really concerned about the future and about the young people and how hard it is for faith to live. And it's true. Here's what we can't do. We can't simply do for our kids today what our parents did for us. If that's what we do, they're not going to be around. And it's no one's fault. It's not saying that in the past people did things the wrong way. No, what would be wrong is for people in the present to do things the same way. You know, what worked in the past, but the methods of the past no longer work in the present. Why? Because the world has changed. So let's encourage our young people to get involved, to come and check it out, you know. Tell them if they hate it, Father James will buy them a pizza. That's worked for me before, that's been solid. And then I'll get Brad to pay the bill. So anyway, it's been great spending time with you. If you do have time to spare a prayer for me over the pond, please do, and I look forward to getting back in touch with you. And that little subscription bell down there, right there, give that a little push. And that way you make sure that you get the new videos on time. Have a wonderful week. Arrivederci.